California, here I come. Right back where I started from. When flowers bloom in the sun. Each morning, and dawning bird is singing everything your sun-kissed face said. Don't be late. That's why I can hardly wait. Open up that golden gate. California, here I come. California.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Huell's Gold. I'm Chris.
Oh, are you?
I'm Alan.
I'm Chris.
All right, so where are we at?
Where aren't we? We're all over the map again.
Because we're up and down searching for California's gold. So we haven't found it yet.
The search continues. We're actually searching for Huell's gold. Huell spent enough time searching for California's gold. We're just on his riding his coattails, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit.
But where are we? We are starting the show off
On the San Joaquin Delta.
There it is.
We are on the Island Queen.
Yeah, in the deep water channel, which is it's a nice looking industrial type river.
Looks just fine.
Yeah. But this boat here, it seems not like a luxury cruise, seeing as there's like plastic lawn chairs for seating.
Yeah, it looks like you would transport a golf cart or something across.
Yeah.
I don't know, just anything.
That's just the first shot, though. The whole first shot's good. We got Huell in the teal polo. He's got his khakis on, guns ablazing,
Like always.
And then we're panning over to the singers for our theme this week.
And what's the band's name?
The Stockton Chorale.
Corral.
Well, I thought maybe it was choral, even though Huell says chorale because of the way it's spelled.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with that?
Well, California's Gold didn't make a lot of mistakes, I would say. Here's the first one in the series that I've noticed.
So it's actually
Chorale.
the choral.
Chorale.
Corral.
It is pronounced chorale, but in the graphic that tells us that we're listening to members of the Stockton Chorale, it's spelled Corale. Not exactly right.
What can you do?
Yeah, it's 91. They didn't have Google or anything.
That pitcher, huh? No,
Yeah.
really. Not only was he throwing a baseball, he was throwing the California's Gold logo.
Yeah, it was a bit of a jump cut there to go from the singers on the boat all of a sudden to a baseball team with no explanation. With this pitcher who's somehow able to throw a logo fastball.
They're just being creative.
Yeah.
All right, so what we have in this episode is the return of the outline.
That's right. Thank the maker. It is back. I had no idea geographically where we've been for 2 weeks. Now I know exactly where we are based on the big star right above Stockton, California.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't need to be the ones to tell you why we're in Stockton. Let's let Huell do that.
Now, baseball has always been a popular sport in Stockton. In fact, they've had professional teams here for well over 100 years. And here's where the fun begins. Back in the 1880s, during the era of hydraulic mining in the gold country, the river in Stockton was especially muddy. In fact, many a riverboat captain referred to Stockton and its muddy river as Mudville. In 1887, a sports reporter from the San Francisco Examiner by the name of Ernest Thayer visited Mudville to watch a baseball game. And he was so inspired by that game that he wrote a poem about it. A poem which was first published in the Examiner a year later and became an instant hit. A poem all about a player on the Mudville team who went to bat and struck out. Probably the most famous and well-known baseball player in the history of the game. Mighty Casey. And the poem? Well, by now you know I'm talking about Casey at the Bat, one of the most often recited poems of all time.
All right, so you're a huge baseball fan. Massive.
Couldn't be bigger. Not really.
It's until XFL comes out, right?
That's right. No, I've always liked baseball. It's not something I watch religiously by any means. We certainly have friends who do,
Yes.
who bleed blue.
Some black and orange.
Yeah, true. California rivalries going on in our world. So yeah, we're at the baseball field, and as you heard, we're in Stockton. We're here with the Stockton
Pirates.
Ports. Yeah, and they're part of the California League, the A League.
Let's get to the real reason. Well, Huell's already told us the real reason while we're here.
Yeah, the poem. So you've never heard this poem?
No.
Casey at the Bat.
I didn't learn to read till I was 13.
All right.
Not even in SSR, which, if anyone else had this, that was sustained silent reading. That wasn't RSP, which maybe it initially sounded like that.
No.
So I was looking at the uniform because it's pretty cool. I'm sure it's
Yeah.
incredibly uncomfortable to play in. But to my knowledge, I don't think the Stockton Ports still play in these wool jerseys.
Well, I mean, they only did it once a week on Sundays.
Yeah, that'd be pretty easy to.
I
But
mean, even in the it wasn't a full stadium, and that I guess that's just minor league baseball as a whole. I mean, our local team has certainly suffered some ill fate.
Not because of the
well.
new name either.
No,
We don't have to
that's the new name is a result of maybe the ill-fatedness of our team. In
Well-
fact, where our local baseball team, the Bakersfield Dodgers, the Bakersfield Blaze, now the Bakersfield Train Robbers, they're no longer affiliated with any Major League Baseball farm system, but were they a part of the same league back then?
Yeah, they were. That was back when we were the Bakersfield Dodgers. Maybe Mike Piazza was on the team.
Piazza, New York catcher?
Yeah, Hideo Nomo. They all came through.
Hideo Nomo.
I always called him Nomo as a kid.
Not Hideo Itami? Okay.
Hideo Nomo?
Rodeo.
Rodeo Nomo. Okay.
Hideo.
Hideo. Anyway, yes, they were part of the same league.
So, I don't want to always overlap our hometown over all these stories, but if you're looking at this game here, you might notice that the Mudville team looks like they're playing someone who might be in Dodger blue. Do you think?
I don't see why not.
It's a little too blurry to tell if the other team happens to be the Bakersfield Dodgers, but I'm just going to go with it. Like we do many times in this show. We just decide on things.
Just why not?
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of the uniforms, I heard that Visalia, at least once a year, they will wear the Mudville uniforms, the Mudville 9 uniforms, and they'll recite Casey at the Bat.
Well, maybe you should go there so you could finally hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that.
But, so you told me this Visalia thing earlier, and so Stockton doesn't do this Mudville Casey at the Bat thing anymore. And and in the episode, Huell mentions that there are other cities that lay claim to being the real Mudville. Was Visalia one of those?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, so they just decided to take over.
As far as I understood it, they just wanted to keep the tradition going.
They got to keep that legend alive of this potentially fictional character, which is another thing that Huell brings up is the legitimacy of Casey as a real person And he does an interview with the general manager of the team. We'll get to that in a second.
No. See, the city, there's another city that claims to be Mudville, or the Mudville of the Mudville Nine in the poem, and that is a city in Massachusetts. I think it's Holliston.
Isn't that where the author of the poem lived?
He grew up somewhere by it, and there's a baseball field by that, and there was a neighborhood there, I think, called Mudville.
Well, that's some evidence, but
it's tenuous. Yeah,
we'll get to the evidence in the case of Stockton a little bit. But everyone seems to take their evidence just at face value. Everyone's just going right into it. I really believe him, because Huell's really pushing the investigative journalism going on here and getting straight to facts when he's interviewing the ball players and everything. Speaking of the player interviews, Huell's he's having a good time talking to these guys, but
he's having a hard time reading the situation here.
Yeah, the guy who's kind of he's miming the Casey at the bat part, and he keeps looking like he's going to swing, and Huell just does not get out of the way until the last second. He's just smiling and holding the microphone, and then he gets out of the way while the guy swings. But then a couple players later, is your favorite guy.
That's old 32-38?
32-38, yeah.
We're going to call him that.
Because
he's, he says that he wears, Huell points out that, hey, you got some baggy pants on. Mm-hmm. And he says, yeah, I usually wear 32s, but these are 38s. Now, the weird thing to me is that he pulled his pants out, full extension of the 38.
Yeah, he loosened the belt.
You could see down the front of his pants. Even from Louis' perspective, it's close. You can't, but...
No. Thankfully, this is just high 8 video, so we're not getting the full HD.
No, but Huell's a tall man.
He's at the perfect, vantage point to maybe catch
a glance. I don't know.
Catch a glance.
I'm sure it's nothing, because his shirt's pretty baggy, so it's probably covering.
Yeah.
Everything.
There's
We never know.
jock strap and all that stuff.
True.
Going on
Very
there.
true. Yeah.
It's just a really odd exchange.
Yeah, I maybe athletes are a little different, more comfortable with their bodies or something.
Yeah.
But hey,
I wouldn't know.
I just admitted I'm not an athlete.
Same. But then after we're done with the players here, we get to my favorite thing that Huell usually does is interviewing the folks. And he goes into the stands and starts interviewing fans about their thoughts on the Casey at the bat. Not a controversy, but...
Well, the first thing I thought, because they were talking, Huell said, is Casey a real person? Yeah. To me, I don't think that really matters, but...
There's been a lot written about it, right?
Yeah, it's very true.
They show lots of shots of newspaper articles from all these years. But this first couple that he talks to, there's a lot of details to these people. I really like them. So we got, it looks like a married couple, I would say. And the wife is wearing elastic waistband denim pants with a pastel shirt with pastel paint splatter effect. And she's got the ever-present permatints on, permatint glasses, but still having to block the sun from her eyes, which, maybe if you had a full tint glass, you wouldn't have to do that, much like some of the gentlemen behind her. And then her husband, now this is a baseball fan to me. Like, I've been to some baseball games, and these kind of guys sit there with their arms crossed. The only thing he's missing is the radio headset, so he can listen to the radio commentary over it, which I don't know if there's radio commentary.
I can't tell. Do you think they have a seat pad under them?
I sure hope so, because those are just metal bleachers on this 100-degree day.
What does he have in his pocket? Are those some American spirits? Some cigarettes?
They're cigarettes of some type. I'm no expert, but, hopefully he quit soon after this.
The second lady, there's not much to say except...
She's keeping the pastel theme alive.
No, she is, but the Stockton Ports, the hat...
Yeah.
It's just embroidered. It just says Ports.
So when I first saw this, I thought it just said sports. Like, I'm a sports fan. Like as if she was a background character in a video game or something. Then Huell goes on to another, I don't know, couple. They don't seem to be sitting real close, but the woman he's interviewing has a Stockton Port shirt on, sunglasses, white pants, pretty basic style. But her comrade to her right, this is my main man right here.
What is it? The suspenders? Is it the short shorts?
The baby blue tee.
Yeah, like toothpaste tea.
Toothpaste tea. His like very thick, well-groomed mustache.
He has his hat cocked a little to the...
His paper white hat. Looks like a painter's hat.
It's like, if he was wearing a fedora, it'd be tilted down. But it's just a flat bill.
Yeah. It's all of the above. Like the short suspender combo. I'm loving it. And, you know, if I'm wearing suspenders, which I only have once to a wedding, I was constantly like this guy, just thumbing the suspenders, just kind of giving them a little stretch. It's something to do with your hands, you know?
Yeah. Well, they also have the lady behind who's trying to sneak a peek.
Sneak a peek in the camera.
Yeah, pop her head down to get in the shot. And there's...
Did you notice that she's wearing one of those like sitcom TV...
Like gambling visors?
Gambling. Oh, Dad's got his poker buddies over there. One of them's got a green visor on.
And then you got the guy to the top left whose legs are just wide open. He's taking it all in.
Well, he's getting like, look how rich his tan is. He's just getting the inner thigh
Even
browned
coat,
up.
Even coat.
Yeah.
Well, all this we overlooked what the lady actually said. She presents her reasons for why the poem represents Stockton and not this other city. And really, I shouldn't say a reason. It's more of a gut feeling. Because she said it just feels like it.
She's been to the San Jose ballpark. It doesn't feel right. Stockton feels right.
She's very convincing, though, with the hand movements and just...
When people kind of like mime feeling busting out of their chest, I
Yeah.
tend to believe them.
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
I just feel it. All right, lady. Your husband seems to be feeling his
The inside
belly
strap of
there.
his suspender.
But these are some nice people. We're back on the field.
Which you mentioned that there aren't many people here. And Huell mentioned earlier that weren't they the most winning team
Yeah.
in minor league history?
Yeah.
And this is the turnout you get for a home game?
Well, I mean, maybe that's why they stopped wearing these uncomfortable uniforms, is because their local city wasn't giving them the attention that they deserved as the most winningest team.
Good point.
I mean, maybe that was our problem too, and why our California League affiliation.
No, our
left.
problem is because our field's backwards, and so the sun
that's true.
the sun sets so you can't see when you're batting. That's different. That was a quirk.
Yeah, sure. Architectural mistake / quirk. So 2 things about the field right here. One is I really like that they have an O'Doul's non-alcoholic beer advertisement. And then on the opposite side of the field, they have just Pepsi. So was this a straight edge team? Like, what's going on here? I mean, usually it's nothing but Bud Light and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, I was looking at the sponsors: Chevrolet, O'Doul's, Pepsi. Yeah. While you were noticing the O'Doul's logo, I noticed that the second baseman got taken out.
oh wow, he did. I didn't even notice.
Yeah, he's slow to get up.
Well, on our screenshot that we're gonna have,
His buddy's having to help him get up.
the screenshot that we have on the Instagram, there's like tire tracks in the dirt going from first to second base, and if you look at the screenshot at face value, it looks like someone just like tore through the baseball diamond in a car and hit the second baseman and took off. That's not what happened. He just someone slid into him a little bit.
It could have been 2 people sliding in the same tracks.
I don't know about that.
Okay, who's next?
We got the general manager that we were talking about earlier, Dan Chapman. maybe related to Chapman University. We don't know. Maybe this is the beginning of the Chapman University, Dan Chapman, Stockton, Mudville connection that allows us to do this podcast to this day. Maybe not.
Maybe not though. Yeah.
Either way, he's asked by Huell to give the evidence for why Casey was written, or Casey at the Bat was written about the Stockton Mudville team. Mm-hmm. But quickly, Huell says, give us the reasons why. Quickly. And Dan, he obliges because he slams some facts real quick.
He does, but there is one. So when I was researching this, he said that, this town was called Mudville in the late 1800s, but the other town claims there's a neighborhood called Mudville. So I would say those just on the face of it cancel out.
Yeah.
But the more persuasive of the two he gives is that Flynn, Blake, and Cooney that were mentioned in the poem were also on the team.
Well, hands down, this is it.
That's
exactly what Huell says at that evidence. Hands down,
and then
this is it.
And then Huell provides another piece of evidence. And he said, hey, didn't the person who wrote the poem work for the San Francisco
Examiner, I think it was?
Daily something. Didn't he work there? He said, oh, yeah, that too. So Huell provided some evidence. But we do think Huell was already convinced because when he was talking, at least when he's introducing the Stockton Ports and this whole segment, he just mentions that Stockton is the home, unqualified.
In the clip at the beginning of this segment, Huell says, you can almost hear it in his voice, other towns lay claim to this, but Stockton's it. Hands down, this is it.
But you know what? Chapman, my kind of guy.
He's our man.
He's a little type A.
Oh, yeah.
But I like him.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
He's learned. He's an athlete. Nothing wrong with that. But this was a fun segment. Sunny, bright, hot. Guys with no shirts on in the stands. But we're heading to a different kind of park.
All right, Huell. Let us know where we're headed.
Sunday afternoon in San Francisco's famous Golden Gate Park. And we're lucky enough to be listening in on one of the city's true traditions. This is the Golden Gate Park Band, which began regular concerts back in 1882. And when I say regular concerts, that's an understatement, because this proud band holds the distinction of being the oldest and the only year-round municipal park band still performing in the entire United States. It's truly the last of its kind. And every Sunday afternoon in the band concourse area of the park, locals and tourists alike are treated to a free concert.
City by the Bay. San Francisco treat.
Well, is it really the city by the bay or the city in the bay based on the outline here?
Well, that's not even... Again, this is the second time. We're looking at the outline of California with our star. And just like last time, or the first time we were in...
Our star.
I think we're part of the...
Like us? Like you and...
I think we're part of the California's Gold lore now.
Universe.
Okay. California's Gold universe. The first time that Huell went to San Francisco, we made note of the star being about 80 miles offshore. And I mean, now that I got a better look at it, I think maybe they did that because the way that this thick line along the shore...
It's convoluted.
Come on, dude. Where can they fit that star?
No. I said the bay and the thick line, it's smashed. It's all convoluted. You would get mixed up.
Oh, that is, not me.
Yeah, no, not you. Come on.
But yeah, I think that's the reasoning behind it. It still looks silly when the star is so far out. Like, just schlummy it right on the bay there. We know where it is.
Or just no star.
City on the bay.
No star. Just put San Francisco. Smush it in just a little bit.
Yeah, I guess.
Smoosh.
I mean, if you're going to do the outline, do it right. And maybe that's why they didn't do it for 2 weeks in a row. But we're glad it's back. We're not arguing with a thing that happened 20 years ago.
How strong is that kickstand?
He is the kickstand.
Oh, he is the kickstand.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to see a human kickstand, 10:59.
Yeah.
Timestamp.
That's not really the reason Huell's in San Francisco. As you heard, we're listening to the Golden Gate Park Band. And as you heard, it started in 1882. It's a long time. And also, I lived in San Francisco for a year. Never once heard about this band. You think if it's such a city treasure, they'd be shouting it from the rooftops.
They have the equivalent turnout of the Stockton Ports, though.
That's
for
true.
being honest. They play once a week, and this is the turnout.
Yeah. I guess you are kind of oversaturating your fan base there, playing so often. I wish we had something like that in town, really.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Because we do. You've
do.
never heard of the Buell Park Band?
I forgot about the Buell Park Band. Well, I mean, they only
Did I say
play
Buell? Buell.
Buell Park Band.
Buell Park Band.
Yeah. I only lived like 4 blocks from it for 4 years. But yeah, we do have a park band. The Buell Park Band plays a couple times a year in the summer.
Yeah, it's the 4 weeks leading up to the 4th of July.
Yeah. And it's a good time. I went a couple times. Can't believe I didn't put 2 and 2 together here. But
see, ours isn't as old, 1882, but it did start in 1908.
that's not that.
It's
Why aren't we why
I don't
again,
know.
ours needs to be shouted from the rooftops as well.
Well, everyone's listening is invited. Next one's going to be, I don't know, June 12th.
Yeah. Whatever the Sunday is that week.
The 4 Sundays before the 4th of July.
Yeah. We'll put the website up in the description here, but they haven't updated it for the 2018 season yet. But maybe we'll see you there.
And if you don't care about Bakersfield at all, that's cool too.
Yeah. A lot of people do. In fact, you can look up if there's park bands in your area.
Okay, now let's get
to the meat of this.
Let's get to the meat of the matter.
Speaking of meat,
there's a man who looks like he's wearing a leotard, but with short shorts covering up the bottom half.
Yeah.
And Huell catches him stretching.
Yeah, let's describe him fully because he's got the leotard and everything, but when he leans up, it really does look like maybe a young Bernie Sanders.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good description. I
I
was hoping it was a tank top.
Yeah.
No chance.
No.
And he comes up immediately from stretching, cross body stretch, to hands on the hips.
Yep.
Just immediately.
I got to tell you, though. I'm not a fan of this guy.
He is my least favorite interviewee thus far.
And, sir, if you're listening, nothing personal. I don't even know your name. But on this day, you seem to be a little overzealous because he's not alone. He's standing next to, we presume, his significant other. Is standing there in her teal shirt, her workout pants, also, I assume, was stretching. And it seemed like she was prompted, ready to go for the interview. Huell asks a question.
Open to both of them.
She starts to talk. Blah, blah. He just talked right over her. And continued to do so.
He just armpit on her shoulder.
Yeah.
Leaning in, answering all the questions. And then he mentioned something. Well, first of all, we should say, and this doesn't matter, but he's probably close to 60 or in his 60s. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
He mentions he has a 4-month-old child, not grandchild.
Baby.
But a baby, and he wants to bring the baby, his baby, only his, he had it himself.
His baby.
His baby, he wants to bring it to see the park band.
So, yeah, there's a lot to be dissected with the phrase that he blurts out there. 4 months out. Okay. Where is this kid? Who's taking care of this kid? Why are you at the park?
See, I was thinking we kind of knew people in San Francisco, not know them close, just knew of people. Maybe he had a nanny.
I sure hope so.
I've heard it's the thing.
Yeah.
So maybe.
Okay. Secondly,
maybe dropped him off with, or maybe it's a her, with his mom?
Perhaps, but I'm thinking, that was my second point. If this lady is his significant other, is she the mother of the
No,
child?
his mom.
Oh, his mom. But if he's 60,
Yeah, she probably. What if she had him at 60? Maybe she'd be 120.
wow. All right. I mean, if that's the way that their family's rolling, which, to each their own.
Okay, well, anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, if this is his significant other, if this is the mother of that child, kudos to her for being out and not letting a newborn rule her whole life, and she wants to run in the park. Maybe get a quick little TV interview in.
And she has the patience of Job.
You ain't lying there, because she may be nice and patient, but you can read in her eyes. Come on, dude, just let me talk. Oh no, I gotta be quiet again. All right, all right, Bernie. Enough about them. They're
Okay.
just
They're
we could
just
talk all
two
day.
characters, yeah.
So we're listening to the band. They're really good, actually. Like, a lot of times these kind of municipal bands tend to be a little off time.
Well, they're paid pretty well. That's when Huell, which I'd imagine.
What makes you assume they're paid well?
Well, the one trumpet player that Huell interviews mentions, he says, well, why do you, I forget exactly what the question is, but it's why do you do this, or something along those lines. He said, well, steady job. The first thing he says. They play 1 day a week, so I mean, they can't get paid super well.
Yeah.
But online I found, there's an article as of 2017, they're making $2,500 a year, and they contribute to a pension for them.
I don't know how you found that information, but
Just old Google box.
yeah, I guess so. I mean, this is your forte here.
It's all about the quotation, words and quotations.
Yeah.
It's effective.
Well, that's good bonus knowledge there, that these are not volunteers, and they're being paid well for their services, and we're glad they are. I wish I had gone to this when I lived in San Francisco, I got to tell you, because
seems cool.
Yeah, I mean, the time I lived there, it certainly wasn't. It's definitely not cheap now, but it wasn't cheap then either. And a free concert certainly would have been something I'd want to do. I went to a free organ recital at St. Francis Church one time. That was cool. But every week I could have gone to this, I would have been there.
Well, what do you think about the context of this interview, or the time period that it took place? So the time period this interview took place, do you notice anything different about the demographics, or is there anything interesting?
Yeah. This definitely seems like a San Francisco that's lost to time. It isn't that long ago. It's 1990, 1991. But just the demographics of people that are there, I really didn't see a lot of people of like retirement age. Maybe because I was only in my early 20s and I was just doing stuff with people that age, but it did seem like a very youthful town. And a lot of the people here at this concert seem to be of a bygone era, I guess.
They're just very grandpa-y.
Yeah. I was trying to be tactful about it, but it does seem like a thing that a grandpa would go to.
And you noted this guy, he sort of looks like Ernest Hemingway in his old age.
The horn player there, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's been doing it for 35 years. Maybe that's where Ernest actually went. He's not dead. He's just playing in the band. But there was some interviews with patrons there as well, and again, that's my favorite thing. So there was a mother-daughter duo. Did you notice them?
Yes. Are you talking about the permatense?
Oh yeah, got
Always.
more permatense. So the mother, she's wearing like a white coat, and she has a fanny pack, another fanny pack we're seeing in the show. She's got the permatense. Her daughter wearing a green coat and a matching visor, earring, vest combo, all royal or bright red.
Nice.
And what they say is kind of pretty run of the mill. Oh, this is great kind of a thing. But their look is great, and there's a mystery grocery bag in between them. Did you notice that?
I didn't.
It looks like the kind of grocery bag that is being, and it's a big square paper grocery bag, and it looks like it's been used like 16 times. I don't know what's in it. They never reach into it to grab anything.
Do you know what I think's in there? Some Bodine bread.
Oh, if you're trying to do a little callback,
There it is.
You got it. They got a bag of bread.
All right, so I think we're done in the Bay Area.
Seemed like a pretty short segment to run all the way up to San Francisco just to interview these, which we know this was probably done at a different time, but I like to believe that all these different episodes are one single trip that Louis and Huell are going on.
We know they're not.
And we know it's not, but it's fun to imagine. But yeah, we're heading out. We're heading out of the Bay, and we're going back down south. Huell, tell us where we're going.
It's a tradition that is deeply rooted in the history and culture of Mexico. A sport with a long and colorful history that's been transported now into California. It's called charreria, and it's a competition of skilled horsemen, kind of like the American rodeo, but much older and much more formal, more structured. For example, there are 9 events in each charreria. Each one of these events requiring particular skills, dexterity, balance, courage, and knowledge. The horsemen themselves are called charros and are highly respected. And these days, all over our state, in small local arenas like this one in Ontario in San Bernardino County, it's possible to see this grand tradition being carried on.
So what experience do you have with Ontario?
I went to the Ontario Mills Mall one time.
Okay.
It's a really big mall.
It's big. Do you know what else is big? The Vans skate park that was there.
I had no idea.
Yeah. It was huge.
Who's skating there? Tony Hawk?
Tony Hawk, T-Hawk. We got Ryan Shack. Who else is there?
You got Bam Margera.
Bam Margera, Chris Cole.
Who we got? Rodney Mullen.
Rodney Mullet.
He's a street guy, but he goes to the skate parks, right? So that's what you went to Ontario for, I'm guessing?
Yeah, we've also flown out of the Ontario airport, which is our favorite.
Really?
Yes. It's an international airport. That was the first airport. Well, I didn't fly till I was, how many years ago would that have been? Till I was 22. My first flight went to Ireland. I flew out of Ontario.
My first flight, I believe I was 23, beat ya, and I flew to France out of San Francisco.
How was that?
It was all right.
Yeah. I've always wanted to go to, well, I guess I did go to Europe.
Yeah, you did. We both
Didn't
did.
feel like it. Yeah. Didn't feel very French.
No. Mine was a very...
Had fun, though, but definitely not that. Not the continent.
No, it's an island, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not why Huell is in Ontario.
Not for the skate park?
Not
Wasn't
the
built
mall.
yet.
No. There might be some skateboarding going on in Ontario. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that, yeah.
What we're really here for is the charreria, which is kind of a Mexican-style rodeo. I'm sure many people have seen this, heard of it. I've never been to one or anything, but it looks fun. It looks a lot less kind of graphic and crazy than a regular rodeo kind of a thing.
Well, luckily, at our rodeo, we
Violent.
actually have one of these.
At the old Kern County Fairgrounds?
Do you want to go?
When is it?
Fiesta del Charro Rodeo. It is in... Where's it at? Let's see. Sometime in September, between September and October. It was last year, at least. Presumably, they do it every year.
That's during the Kern County Fair.
Yep.
Well, we always go to the fair anyway.
Why not?
All right, fans, you heard it. We're going to the charreria at the Kern County Fair.
See you there.
See you there.
They're not cowboys. It's
They're
it's a
charros.
totally different thing. They're charros.
Yeah.
But not charro.
No.
Like
not the character from Love Boat. The Love Boat?
Yeah. I don't know.
Not Love Boat. Fantasy Island.
Fantasy Island. That's right.
Yeah. Haven't seen either one of those. Could be the same show. I don't know.
Well, anyway, not that.
Okay. Yeah, just ropers, horsemen, cattlemen. Cowboys isn't a big stretch, but they're charros.
I mean, here's the thing about this. It's pretty informational,
Yeah.
and that's about it.
Yeah. It's a cool kind of like slice of culture kind of a thing. It is a tradition that has been going on here, and Huell is there because this is a school for the younger generation to learn this cultural activity, which is cool.
It's cool.
But there isn't a lot of like real funny interactions in
No,
this
I
segment.
mean, we could talk about his most cowboy garb that he's wearing.
The dual denim.
Dual denim.
He did the dual denim right, though. Did you notice that he's got two different colors? He's got the blue denim shirt with black denim jeans. That's how you do dual denim.
Is he wearing a cowboy tie? No.
A bolo tie? No, I don't think so.
Well, then he didn't do it exactly right.
No.
But, yeah.
Did you notice that he's wearing a different pair of sunglasses?
Those aviators? Something close to it?
Yeah, these are aviators he's got on. He had the Ray-Ban Wayfarers when he's back up in Stockton. That lends to the notion that this was a different day because he packed a different pair of sunglasses. But would you have done this as a kid if given the opportunity?
Absolutely not.
All right, just you would have been doing the skateboarding.
Yeah, skateboarding for sure.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of that,
Yeah, this was the best part of the interview.
he's probably 10,
Yeah.
11, 12, something like that. And he's with his dad, this kid,
Mm-hmm.
who's going to be a charro, presumably. He's
Yeah.
going through the training.
If he can stick with it.
Yeah, the dad's pretty hard on him. He said, this kid's lazy. He just wants to skateboard.
See,
Like,
now,
okay.
I was more on the lazy end of being a kid. That's why I didn't skateboard. That's why I can't do it to this day. Others in this room weren't as lazy, learned how to skateboard.
And had a great time.
Yeah.
But I have a question for you.
Okay.
Is skateboarding a sport? Or is it some sort of artistry, performance?
Yeah, that's a pretty big. I mean, even though I didn't skate a lot, I did like follow it because we grew up in the era of the X Games.
Right.
And I mean, skate competitions have been going on since the late 60s. So there's been a sporting aspect of it. But I don't think that that's what it is for the vast majority of skaters.
Yeah.
It's not about being in competitions, winning competitions. It's physical artistry.
I like that. That's
Yeah.
great.
Because were you ever in a competition?
Not at all. I never thought it. Well, I guess if you wanted to be professional, you would do that. But to me, that's what always separated people who skated parks
Yeah.
and whatnot, and street skating. So,
Because,
maybe-
I mean, X Games changed that, right? Like, skating was strictly an art form to the majority of kids because the main way that they were consuming it, if they weren't necessarily doing it, was skate videos.
right.
So that's how you're seeing it, is just it's almost like performance.
Well, yeah, I was thinking,
Athletic
like, how do skateboarding companies, how do they actually advertise? And they do it through videos. They don't do it through sporting competitions where
No.
you come and you notice the team.
Hey, Bob
So it's-
Burnquist won the X Games, and he was riding a birdhouse board. Was he on birdhouse?
Whoa, no, the firm. Wait, no, that was even older. That shows my age.
But either way, yeah, it wasn't so much that. It was like, oh, did you see what so and so did on this new video?
Yeah. Well,
I guess that answers that.
yeah, I like it.
So this kid, like, maybe he's more on the artistic end because, I mean, this is kind of like a competitive sport that they have here. But it's also a mix of artistry and sports because of the roping. Like the lasso roping techniques that they have seem very,
They're technical.
Yeah. But there's lots of other kids that are there because, like we said, it's a school. And one of my other favorite parts was Huell is talking to a little girl. She's with her dad on horseback, and she kind of gives Huell a Spanish lesson. Because he asks her, so you want to be a charro? No, I want to be a chara. No kidding, Huell.
He takes it with stride, though.
Yeah, he just turns back to the camera and just gives a
Big smile.
what are you going to do? Well, like we said, this is a short segment. It's information packed, but it's
Not much
succinct.
content for commentary. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's kind of self-explanatory, everything he's doing. I mean, there's cool. It's a culturally rich segment.
Very rich.
Very cool garb and roping tricks and whatnot.
And really, just the visual contrasts between like the baseball park and then the band, and then to this, like it almost has the scene breaks feel very geographically different. I liked the collection of things here.
Well, I'll tell you what I liked.
Mm-hmm.
The Charo at the end.
Oh, during the credits?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's doing some rope tricks while standing on the back of a horse.
Like, yes, you said it. I mean, it's crazy to see it. He's just standing on the saddle on the back of the horse, and not just doing rope tricks. Like
At one point, he jumps.
he's doing jumps, and the horse kind of gives a little hoot. What are you doing back there, buddy? But it's a pro Charo horse.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait until future California's Gold episodes to see what other traditions.
Yeah, because he
Huell's gonna-
mentioned that there's just so many, we can do shows for a long time on this kind of a subject, which he certainly does. I mean, it's not the only thing he does, but there are many traditional things he goes and sees and does. But that's the end of the traditions episode. We had a 3-segment one, and next week looks like we're keeping it more in one locale. Where are we going next week?
Going to Sacramento, and it's going to be all trains all the time. Well,
Throw Mama from the train. No.
it's a great movie. But no, this is actually Louis, when he describes this episode in his book, he notes that this was Huell's breakout show that set the standard for the rest of California's Gold shows.
Yeah, you'll see why. We'll break it all down, but it certainly is the first one I remember feeling, okay, the show is pretty much like this for almost the entire, at least first wave of shows. It's a good one. So we want you to come back and hear that one. But before we go, there's an event happening, right?
There's 2 of them.
This first event, I got to tell you, this is a big, big deal to me. I am excited because there's actually a new lost episode of California's Gold that has been unearthed, I guess is a way to put it. And it is about the Ghost Mountain Experiment. And you can go on Facebook. You just search Huell Hauser's Lost California's Gold episode. And it is going to be a viewing of this new episode. And I don't want to get too much into it. I want you to read about it. But basically, it was a episode that was done on a family that went off the grid, spent some time living that lifestyle. A documentary was made about them. Huell Whitten interviewed the documentarian, among other things and people. And then, because this was during the time of his illness, he wasn't able to get it edited and out there. So he seems to have given the tapes to the documentarian, John McDonald. It seems like he's edited this together and he's made a new California's Gold episode. So, like there weren't enough of these things for us to cover, we're adding another one to it. But
It's kind of fun, though, because you actually get to see this original footage being aired as if it were a real,
yeah,
like a genuine California's Gold episode.
yeah. So this event, it's in Glendale. It's going to be held at the Downtown Central Library Auditorium. Again, March 7th. It's a Wednesday. It's a weird day. It's really thrown us for a loop if we're going to be able to go to this. We're dying to go. It's at 7 p.m. All you Huell's Gold fans, we hope you can get out there. And, it's an opportunity we may never get again to see a new episode of California's Gold posthumously. But there's another event. Alan, tell us about the other event.
Well, unfortunately, we don't get Huell in person, but for this event, we get Louis.
Yeah.
Louis Fuerte, author of My Time with Huell Hauser, which we've made numerous references from his book.
And will continue to.
Mm-hmm. He's going to be at the Valencia Public Library Saturday, April 14th from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Yeah. A Saturday. That's great. Good job,
Saturday.
Louis.
Easy to get to.
We're definitely going to this one because this is just right down the road from us. We're dying to meet Louis. Yeah, we've already got the book.
You going to get the book autographed?
Sure thing. Want to talk to the man himself. Shake the hand that Huell shook, which is probably 700,000 people in this state. But
hey, but for all those years, he was carrying around an 18-pound camera.
Sure was. Every shot we've seen went through that lens to his eye first.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what the handshake's like.
We'll just have to go and see.
Have to find out.
But we hope that you can get to that one. Again, April 14th in Santa Clarita at the Valencia Public Library. And we hope to see you there. And we hope that you come along with us next time as we continue our search
for
Huell's Gold.
We're out behind the stands now, and what are you doing out here?
I'm just a spectator today. We usually ride, but it's invitation only today, so a couple of guys from our team are invited, and we're here to support them.
Yeah, but I'm talking about what I just saw you doing here.
Just walking by, decided to rope a post.
He's roping a post. Could you rope the post for us?
Sure.
I want to see this. Of course, the post is not moving. If you can't rope that post, we're in trouble. Here he goes. All right. You do that well with a horse?
Yeah, I'm horse too.